Fellas, there's been an absolute gaggle of excellent HDR monitors that have finally reared their ugly heads this year in 2024. I mean, God forbid we have to talk about the really dark days where we had only LCD to deal with. Thankfully, now we have 4K 240Hz OLEDs, and it's great. But these OLEDs certainly are not bright enough, in my opinion, to give us really impactful HDR, and that's why I've been holding out hope against hope that maybe we might just get the OLED that I've been looking for this year. And today, that's what we're going to be talking about, because there's a chance, there's a shot in the dark that might just occur. Now, I don't want to tell you guys that this is going to be the perfect OLED for everyone. Obviously, that's going to differ from person to person, and some of these QD OLEDs, especially like from MSI, with how good the prices, are going to be the perfect option for you. And if you've already purchased one, they're all excellent, but there's been one I've been waiting for, and this one is coming from a very controversial company, to put it lightly. There's been a lot of complaints online of them potentially being really late to deliver products, or I've even seen people claiming that they never received their products at all in the past from this company. I've reached out to them for a statement, and they told me that they are working on fixing any of those issues, but of course, that's just their word. We got to see how they handle the launch of this year's OLED monitors, and of course, I'm talking about Doe. And so, for that reason, getting that disclaimer out of the way, if you are considering purchasing one of these monitors like I certainly would be, well then, I would take my advice, weird, I'm taking my own advice, and I would not pre-order from them, and I would also not purchase straight from their website. I would only purchase from a third-party retailer such as Best Buy or Amazon, make sure that it's being fulfilled by that company, and then get some sort of third-party warranty to make sure that you're completely covered and cannot get in a bad situation. However, hopefully what they told me is true, and they will be making things better going forward and making sure to deliver their products in a more timely manner and making sure that everybody receives their product or a refund. And if that is the case, which I would certainly hope it would be, well then this monitor could be amazing. I'm talking about their upcoming 32-inch Spectrum Black monitor. This thing, guys, could be the Holy Grail that we've been waiting for. Why do I say that? Well, let's quickly take a look at the three different options that they recently talked about over on Reddit. So they're gonna have a matte version. Yuck! Who wants that? Well, it is starting at $899, so if you're considering the LG one, hey, that would be a way lower price, assuming, again, you can get it from Best Buy or Amazon, fulfilled by them. The second option is going to be the first Gorilla Glass option. Yes, this will be glossy, and this should give you a much more clear and vibrant picture, but it is gonna come at the cost of $1,099. Now, I think that's pretty fair, but the one that you're probably going to want to purchase if you're like me is going to be the highest end model, coming in at $1,299. Now, why would you consider this one if you're considering purchasing one of these three options? Well, the reason would be, not only are you going to get that Gorilla Glass, which is absolutely fantastic and is going to give you much, much better black levels than, say, the QD OLEDs, as well as still giving you excellent clarity, at least in theory, depending on how well they're able to get it put on the monitor. I'll be the judge of that when I get my hands on it. But in any case, assuming everything turns out right, this could be an excellent monitor, but you also get DisplayPort 2.1. Oh yeah, I probably should mention, in case you didn't see on the post here, the matte version will be expected to be shipping late September, I guess, and then the non-DisplayPort 2.1 Gorilla Glass also last week in September, and then finally the 2.1 version will ship apparently allegedly in late October, but let's be honest, guys, they are always late, so that's going to be a best case scenario, at least in my mind. Now, aside from the Gorilla Glass giving you better black levels, as well as potentially giving you similar, if not the same clarity as these QD OLEDs, but again, you won't have to worry about having your lights on or off, why else would I be interested in these monitors? Well, there's one big reason aside from the Gorilla Glass and DisplayPort 2.1 potential, and that has to be brightness. As I mentioned, as great as QD OLED is, and QD OLED is still going to have the superior color even over this, even if the brightness is very, very high in this. However, I want you guys to take a look at a couple of charts I've done on their 27-inch Spectrum Black. Now, the 27-inch does need a firmware update to fully fix its EOTF tracking in HDR, but just about everything else was pretty dang good on it. And take a look at the brightness here. Look at the full screen brightness, 330 nits compared to the roughly 250 to maybe 280 nits that you'd see on the vast majority of QD-OLED and even WOLED monitors. That's a huge improvement in the full screen brightness, and the 10% window brightness is 839 nits. That's around where the other WOLEDs are. However, it's way higher than the QD-OLEDs in their 10% window. So the addition of the high 100% window as well as high 10% window made this by far the brightest OLED monitor that I have ever reviewed, and it's not even close. I do actually still have access to this monitor, and every time I turn it on, I'm like, wow, this thing is way brighter than all the other options. And man, if I could get that on a 32-inch, that would be amazing. Likewise, taking a look at a game here, you can see the QD-OLEDs are down there with some pretty low brightness numbers. Now, yes, the Spectrum Black 27 isn't going toe-to-toe with Mini LED. However, it is far brighter than any of the other OLEDs on this list, and it is very noticeable. And this new 32-inch could maybe even be brighter. I'll have to see when I get my hands on it, which should hopefully be soon. But it does actually bring the peak brightness from around the 800, 900 nits that you might expect from the older WOLEDs to up to 1300 nits, which means that potentially in not only test windows, but also games, the highlights could be better. And they've also communicated to me that they are working to make sure that the firmware is the best it can be at launch, which hopefully does mean proper EOTF tracking. So that's why I'm looking forward to this OLED so much. It just seems like all of the things that I've been looking for in a monitor, this has the potential to deliver as long as Doe can get their act together when it comes to fulfilling their orders on time, making sure that there aren't a bunch of delays or shenanigans going on, as well as getting the firmware right, making sure that Gorilla Glass layer is applied to the monitor correctly, thereby not having any of that matte grain. And then finally, of course, making sure to boost the brightness as high as possible, because if they can achieve or exceed the brightness on what I saw for the Spectrum Black 27, and you're also going to get the 480 Hz mode in DisplayPort 2.1, this could be the monitor to get in 2024. Again, if all goes as planned. But will it go as planned, or will it be a complete disaster? Well, I'll be sure to fill you guys in fairly shortly, and then we'll really find out what the deal is with this alleged possible best monitor of 2024. But regardless of whether or not it's this or still the Asus PG32 UCDM, make sure that you're subscribed so you can see everything display related here on the Display Guy. Whether you're looking to connect a new console, gaming PC, or just need a fast and reliable HDMI cable to connect over long distances, Rupro has you covered with their certified 8K HDMI 2.1 fiber optic cable, available in sizes of up to 50 feet and can deliver a perfect full 48 gigabits per second connection over distances other cables could only dream of reaching. And with 48 gigabits per second of bandwidth, it can easily drive 8K 60 FPS or 4K 144 FPS 10-bit HDR video through its ultra-thin, flexible, and durable housing, and it even supports ER. So if you're in the market for a cable that can drive a beautiful new TV or monitor, be sure to check out Rupro on Amazon today.